What's up, bourbon lovers? My name is Keith. This is the Bourbon Shop, and I love bourbon and sometimes finished bourbons. Hmm. Have you noticed finished bourbons are really on the uprise? I mean, it's really taking off, and there's some pros and cons about finished bourbons. Now, technically, a finished bourbon is when they age a bourbon in a brand new char oak barrel, and then they transfer those contents into another barrel that used to hold some other kind of spirit. For the most part, that's it. Now, some people think or say that when you do that, it's no longer a bourbon. So, real quick, before we get into it, let's just go over what a bourbon is. So, for a whiskey to be classified as a bourbon, it has to be made in the United States, at least 51% corn, distilled no higher than 160 proof, or you will end up with vodka or some tasteless spirit. Barreled at no higher than 125 proof, aged in a new char oak barrel, and bottled no less than 80 proof. There's your bourbon. So there's some wiggle room for a distillery to do some other things to that bourbon, and it can still be classified as a bourbon. For instance, it can be filtered through maple wood charcoal, like in Tennessee with Jack Daniels. It still technically be classified as a bourbon. No? All right. I'll leave you with Exhibit A. Oh, just saying, just saying. Let's just put that out there, okay? So, but let's talk about finished bourbon. Okay. So after the bourbon is aged in a brand new char oak barrel for 2, 3 years, whatever it may be, they will remove it and put it into another barrel that held a different kind of spirit. It could be a barrel that held wine, rum, tequila. Oh yeah, tequila. Jack Daniels has one that's aged in a tequila barrel finish. I think they only sell it at the gift shop at Jack Daniel Distillery, and I don't know. Don't know if I want to get that one. Just doesn't. Something sounds like a headache. On the finishing barrel, maybe it's not spirits. Some age it in a honey barrel, where you get this nice sweet finish to it. And for some, like for myself, it might be too sweet. Now, there's also a technique where you age it in a brand new char oak barrel, and then you put it in another char oak barrel. Now, that's called a double oak, and that is not considered to be a finished barrel because these are two brand new char oak barrels. But you get that extra oakiness that comes in through the finish. Okay, so here's an example of some of the popular double oak barrels. You have your Woodford here, that's very popular. You have your Dixman Deadman 2XO, which is one of my favorite when it comes to double oak. And then you have something like here, Angel Envy, that did a triple oak. So that means it went out of one barrel into another, and it has a very unique taste. I have yet to review that one, but that's coming soon. And spoiler alert, I love it. All right. Now, Angel Envy also is one of the popular ones for port wine finish barrels, and I believe through the grapevine that Angel Envy, I think, is one of the first ones or the first bourbon that went to these special finishes. That's who got it started. Thanks a lot. You really got something going here. Mhm. Okay, now another way they can finish bourbon is by putting wood staves into the barrel, and that will be called finishing the barrel. Now, one of the popular woods that they use is called Amberana. This is a wood that comes from Brazil, and it adds a lot of spice and floral notes to the bourbon. So if that's what you like. You might like that. Now, Oak and Eden, they have a end bottle finishing technique, and this is also called a finished bourbon. And they use the same wood stave that some use in an oak barrel, the Amarana wood. And this actually changes the barrel. Now, I had this before, and I got to tell you, once it got down past the shoulder, and I had let it sit for a while, it was unbearable for me to drink. So that wood is not a gimmick. It really changes the bourbon. But I would suggest that once you get it past the neck or the shoulder, maybe take that wood stave out. Because after a while, I just couldn't take it. It Yeah, it just overpowered what the bourbon is supposed to be, in my opinion. So, now, here's my issue with some finished bourbons, um, like this here. This is Whiskey's World Whiskey Society. It's a 10-year age. It's a bottle that costs right around 150. And, you know, I think they put a pretty good package together with the bottle and the juice. It's mouth filling. It's clean to the glass. And I reviewed not this one, but the one that was finished in port. And I want to say the same thing about what I said about that one, about this one, that it resembles bourbon. You know, the finish is so strong that you don't get those traditional bourbon notes. You know what I mean? The caramel, the brown sugar, molasses, vanilla, things like that you expect to come with a bourbon. So it's just overdone. It's just that, you know, some things you can just take too far. You know, like, you know, putting raisins in potato salad. You know, sure, it's still potato salad, but did you go too far? Yeah. So I think they just went too far with the finish, and that's how some of other finishes are. Now the thing is, they're gonna try this and push the envelope because everybody's trying to stand out. I think since 2000, there's been over 2,000 craft distilleries added to the playing field out here. So it's a lot of distilleries out here who pushing for it. Some of them push for it with fancy bottles. That's one way that they try to stand out. Look at me. Another way is they pushing the rum cask finish, the wine cask finish, and they just push it. I don't know where it's going to end. I mean, you know, what are they going to do next? They're going to, you know, finish it in a pickle barrel, huh? Hurts my heart. It hurts my heart. But let me say this. Has anyone tried the pickled bourbon before? If you have, I just want to ask one thing. What's going on in your life? What's wrong? Hmm? Got to get some help. Got to get some help. My goodness. Pickle. So here's my thing with finished bourbons. I think sometimes they can push it too far, and it really just distorts the true flavor of bourbon. The traditional notes that you want to get out of bourbon. The vanilla, the caramel, the brown sugar, maybe some cinnamon spice. But it comes through with the finishes with too much floral, too much sweet candy, too much wine finish, too much rum finish, and I don't know what's up with the tequila. And then you're talking about pickle finish and olive oil. What's going on? But to each his own. So I guess I'll sum it up like saying this. I just think if I had to choose, like, okay, for from here on, you have to settle with finished bourbons or your traditional bourbons and wheated bourbons. Well, I'm going to choose the traditional. I have to, you know. So I guess in short, what I'm saying about finished bourbons, if it was a place called Finished Bourbon, I would say it's a nice place to visit, but man, I wouldn't want to live there. Let me know what you think about it. Leave it in the comments. Please like and subscribe to the channel for more bourbon and rye and finished bourbon conversations and for bourbon reviews. And as always, the best way to drink your bourbon is to drink it the way you like to drink it. The best way to drink it is in a responsible way. See you next time on the Bourbon Shop.